Uncut and Unscripted. Well, today I recorded onto DVD my DVR recording of Daring Doubt. Now, I will be honest, I did have the episode already onto DVD, thanks to the early channel release and the website Yarded Disc, if you will. But anyway, I want to give you my thoughts on it because I know some people might be curious as to why the episode was done the way it was. And I have to say that, yes, I understand how some of you feel. You know, like when it comes to Alizolo, I think that's his name, how you pronounce his name, Alizolo, it feels like what Nicole Dubuc, who wrote this episode, did was retcon the reasoning as to why he was the way he was. But the retcon actually kind of makes sense. And when you think about it from a real life perspective, sometimes people who write about certain events will kind of write it in a way that's true, but there will be a little bit of fabrication thrown in there. Like they'll say so-and-so said this, but in truth they said something else. So for Alizolo, in his first appearance vowing revenge, that is what Daring Do may have heard. And maybe that's what we were intended to hear to kind of get that idea. Now remember, that was his first appearance, so we really didn't have much to go on. Some might say, well, wait a minute. You know, wasn't Caballero in cahoots with Alizolo and vice versa? Yes, that's true, but I think Caballero is going to betray Alizolo. I'm not really sure. I have to go back and watch the episode. And you got to remember, when that episode happened, I was just slowly getting into the fandom. I was slowly starting to gain interest, so I didn't watch it as much. I only paid attention to what others said. So, you know, if you guys want to fill me in on that, I'd be appreciative of it. But anyway, again, despite that episode, we had not really seen much of Alizolo outside a few other appearances, but even outside of those appearances, we never really had any idea of what his real reasoning was as being who he is, you know, and his true intentions, until we got to this episode. And yeah, Nicole may have retconned or softly rebooted his reasonings, but when you think about it, it too kind of plays into reality. There's a lot of Egyptian myths or South American myths and legends to where there are gods that are made or ordered to guard temples full of treasures. And that these gods that are made to guard these temples don't merely mean any ill intent, they're just doing their job. And if they do mean ill intent, it's only to those that would try to steal. And that's kind of what we got here with Alizolo. He's kind of that guardian god, if you will, that's put into the role of guarding all these artifacts that Daring Do's been stealing, as well as Caballero's been stealing. But he's never meant any real intent. And when he vows revenge, he's vowing revenge against the thieves that stole, not to those that don't mean any harm. So, yeah, it may seem like a weird retcon or soft reboot, but in the end, it kind of makes sense. Because what this episode is, when you get down to it, is looking at things from others' perspectives, and in the end, putting all those pieces of those perspectives together to get the real truth. That's what it is. And of all characters to help make this happen, you utilize Fluttershy. Fluttershy, who ends up becoming a new Daring Do fan, thanks to Rainbow Dash lending her a book or so she can, see what all the hubbub is and really get, intrigued and interested and excited. So like Dr. Wolf said in his review, you got now not just one, not just two, but 3 Daring Do fans. The other 2 being, of course, Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle. Anyway, Anyway, long story short, it's Fluttershy that helps bring all this together, bring pieces. That's basically Fluttershy is the one that helps piece all these perspectives together to get the truth, to kind of find out what's really going on. But Fluttershy, I like the fact that even though part of her character, and some people may like this and may not like this, is her naiveness. Then when she wants to show kindness, and she does show that true, that true side of her element, the kindness and everything, despite all the character development she's gotten over the years, from being sassy, smart aleck, if you will, to being assertive when she needs to be more braver and have more courage in facing imminent danger, or facing off against creatures or villains that are a lot more dangerous, and really giving them a talking to or giving them the stare. To even as, I think Thespio and Voice put it in the review of Sweet and Smoky, you get a little bit of that gangster shy in there too. But, despite all that, I like the fact that this episode reminds us of who Fluttershy is in the end. And that is a pony of kindness, the element of kindness. She was willing to give every creature and pony a chance and to see things from their perspective. And despite her naiveness, which is sometimes a weakness and a strength, she's willing to give Caballero a chance to see things from his perspective and go from there. Now, some people, again, might say this kind of contracts with when they first encountered him, and that's true. It does. But, as Fluttershy said, no one, when she went and confronted Alizolo as to why he's acting the way he is towards all ponies and creatures that cross the temple, she basically points it out. No one has ever asked him his reasoning or got it from his perspective. And that's why she gave Caballero a chance. She was willing to listen to why he said the things that he did in his book about Daring Do, who, from his perspective, she wanted to know why he did these things, why he acted this way, why he used people, even her. Eventually was going to reveal through the truth amulet he used her. Why he does this. So she was willing to give him a chance. And by doing this, what happened is she sort of kind of started to help Caballero and his gang redeem themselves. Slowly, not completely. I mean, yes, like I said, he does admit when he wears the truth amulet that he was never going to that he was basically going to betray Fluttershy. He didn't say, I was planning to betray you kind of deal. No. When she asked him what he was planning to do, because she believed one thing, all he said, because the truth amulet makes people or ponies or creatures tell the truth, he says, no. But then what surprised even Rainbow Dash was, because Rainbow Dash had the line of, okay, we didn't see that coming, is when Caballero basically said, they valued the friendship that Fluttershy was willing to give them. Basically valued that friendship that she was, like I said, they valued the friendship she was willing to give them, despite who they are. Basically giving the chance to listen to their side of the story, their reasonings for the way they were. So in a sense, like I said, that kind of did a slow redemption. Now, as far as Daring Do goes, Daring Do, aka A.K. Yearling, goes, I like the fact that she does admit I like the fact that Daring Do doesn't hide the fact that, some of what you're hearing about me is indeed true, but it's stuff that I never intended to happen. And the fact that she's also, in a hurry to get the truth amulet away from Caballero, it kind of tells you as well that, again, as she admits later on, she wants to get the amulet so she can help protect it. But there's also, I think, a lot of people can assume maybe there's a part of her that doesn't want, that basically wants to protect the amulet so that if she ends up holding it, which we find out she does, or she touches it, she'll end up telling the truth. Or something like that. Anyway, I know it sounds convoluted. I know I just sounded like I rambled there. But anyway, and this is unscripted and uncut, as I said earlier. But like I said, Daring Do, I like how she kind of explains later on that as she touched the amulet, that all she wanted to do was protect. She had no idea Alizolo was actually a guardian. He was doing his job. And there was a noble reason for it. And, this is why he acted the way he did towards her and Caballero and any other thief. It's because they didn't know. And again, that's where Fluttershy came into play when she says, look, nobody's asked him. Let's find out. So overall, the episode I thought was decent. Yes, some people may have not liked the soft retcon reboot it did with Alizolo and his reasonings for the way he acted. And some may not be too thrilled that Caballero got somewhat redeemed in the end, where he basically became a collab author or co-author along with A.K. Yearling. Now, despite that, it did have its moments. Rainbow Dash, no doubt in my opinion here, was probably not at her best, but was at her semi-best. Especially when it came to defending A.K. Yearling, a.k.a. Daring Do. The fact that she did not want to believe what Caballero was saying under his author persona, so she wanted to find out the truth. And yeah, she is a little surprised that some of the things that was said in the Caballero book or perspective is kind of true. But, she, again, even to the end, she's willing to defend Daring Do. She's willing to stand by her idol, if you will, because of their friendship, the close bondness, if you will. I mean, she even says Daring Do sends her a personal copy of the first book every time, every month, or every release, or even before every release. She basically gets an advanced signed copy or whatever. So yeah, Rainbow played a decent role in here. There were some moments too. There is no doubt there are some definite moments. I liked how let's see, at the beginning when they find out, when Rainbow reads the book that Fluttershy brought and then sees what it says and it's like, hey, we got to go take care of this. And then Fluttershy goes right to the book and Rainbow's like, Fluttershy? And it's like, Fluttershy gets this big grin on her face like, oops, sorry. So I love that, and my finger just hit the mic there. I do apologize. So I like that. I really do. There are some good lines in here too, especially when they get to the truth amulet. We get some decent comedic lines, and they're like, you have one of the henchmen saying he's done being a henchman. He wants to go into opera and all that. You have Caballero every time he's wearing the truth amulet, having to tell the truth, and then finally he's like, curse this accursed thing, or something like that. And then Rainbow gets a hold of it, and Rainbow's line, and I love this line, I don't know if anybody else does, but I love this line where Rainbow's like, I'm going to need the deluxe spa package after this adventure. And then right as she tosses the amulet to Fluttershy after she says that, she goes, that does not leave this cave. No, literally, that's what she said. She holds the truth amulet, and then she's like, I'm going to need the deluxe spa package after this adventure. And then she just tosses the amulet then as she's tossing the amulet, I should say, to Fluttershy, she's like, this does not leave that does not leave this temple. It's like she doesn't want anybody to know what she just said. Because literally she's like, I'm going to go have to see those spa ponies after this to get that deluxe double package after this is all said and done. And it's like, Fluttershy, you say nothing. You heard nothing. So overall, it's pretty good. It's actually pretty decent. I like the perspective that we do get some new creatures in there, mythical ones called guardian goyles, if you will, which is kind of cool. Nice little take on that. overall, though, it's not too bad. It's not a really bad episode, in my opinion. I thought it was decent. Again, I know some people might have a problem with the retconning of some of the backstory and continuity to it, or connected to it. But overall, I thought it was decent. I thought it was good. And, the ending, though, was actually kind of a little funny and a little bit of a comeuppance for someone like Caballero, but A.K. Yearling, Daring Do, if you will, had no problem. She was actually, looks like she was kind of happy about it. Because Rainbow Dash comes in and she's like, "Hey, what's going on? I thought there'd be a big turnout for your first collab together." And it's like, and even though Caballero's just sitting back, arms crossed, in a huff a little bit, AK's like, "We got points to the other room and says, "We got upstaged by a new author." And then you see through the window what the poster of who the author is on the poster, and it's Ali Zolo, and he's basically reading off his story from his perspective of how things went. So, yeah, overall, though, in the end, Daring Doubt, I thought, was a decent episode. Again, like I said, I know I sound like I repeated myself, and I rambled, so I do apologize. Again, this is uncut and unscripted. But I have to admit that this was a decent final Daring Do focused episode. Yeah, it did kind of, like I said, it did kind of softly retcon and reboot some things. But you got to remember, I think Fluttershy had the line best. No one ever found out the real reason why Ali Zolo did the things that he did, or why even, in a way, Caballero did the things he did, or said the things he did. So, yeah. Overall, a good episode, and if you're a Fluttershy fan, it was a great episode because it really showed who Fluttershy is in the end, that she's willing, that her kindness and willing to give others a chance even basically affected Caballero to the point that, yes, he did admit through the Truth Amulet that he was going to not live up to his word, but then through the Truth Amulet, which really surprised every pony there, he admitted the fact that Fluttershy's friendship kind of was that they basically valued Fluttershy's friendship that she had given to them, the kindness she had shown to them. So, yeah, overall, if you're a Fluttershy fan, this was really a good episode. And it really helped Fluttershy shine the way she best does, and that's through her element that she represents, and that's kindness. So overall, in the end, though, I know I sound like I repeated myself. I do apologize. I thought this was decent. I thought it was good. If you're a Fluttershy fan, it was great, probably. But overall, decent closure to the Daring Do arc in Friendship is Magic. So that's really about it, guys. That's all I can really say for this episode. Let me know what you guys all think down below. Next week, guys, we got Growing Up is Hard to Do. I think that's next week's episode. So that's going to be interesting to watch and kind of pay attention to. But let me know what you guys all thought about Daring Doubt. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And I'm out.